A very good evening to all of you and a warm welcome for another session in the series of this experts meeting. And today it also is a very special day for us. So to start off with the date, let me warm welcome to all our dear students who are in the platform today in need of this passionate learning, and all the foreign delegates, including our distinguished ambassadors who are joining from different continents of the world today with us, and of course, our counterpart universities, Staffordshire University, Deakin University, and AIT, all the members who are joining from those platforms along with our students. And last but not least, all the distinguished guests who have come on board with us to witness this occasion. It is indeed a special distinguished occasion, and I'm sure you will have a wonderful session within the next 1 hour. So to start with, we do also have Mr. Bandula Godage, our chairman, APIT Sri Lanka, would like to share his expressions along with wishes. Over to you, chairman.
Thank you, Kaushali. Good evening. In fact, it's a privilege to welcome Dimantha for this important event. And also all the excellencies and all the participants very warmly welcome for this CEOs forum. Dimantha, for your information, I think whole objective is basically to give the direct interaction with people like you, like personalities like you for our student population, to get the real the input from people like you all. I mean the CEOs. So on behalf of our CEO Roshane Godage, our student population, and all the staff members, board of directors, I would like to say big thank you for joining us with you. I mean with us, because I know bankers' time. It is time is basically the money, but in spite despite of everything, you managed to be with us today. So it's a great pleasure once again. Dimantha, as you all know, in Sri Lanka or maybe the outside as well, APIT known as for quality education. So we believe, I mean, academic excellence is guaranteed for APIT students, but beyond that, that is basically we believe that people have to come out as the all-rounders. So we need to give them leadership skills. We need to have, when they are passing out, I mean, they are going to the society as the complete people, not only the academic excellence, academics. So therefore, we want to have the mixture of professionalism and all the other general knowledge and everything that they have to absorb. So you will give that opportunity. I mean, every Wednesday, this is Dr. Rohanta's initiative. Every Wednesday, we are meeting one of the professionals to have some experience for our student population. I'm sure you will share your experience, and I will request all my student population to get the maximum out of you through your interactive sessions today. So doing further up, I think rather than wasting your time, so I would like to invite Dr. Rohanta and Kaushal to take off. Once again, Dimantha, thank you very much for participating with us today.
Thank you, Dr. Bandula, for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Rohanta and Kaushali, please.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Appreciate sincerely. And I think today we have the honor of having one of the most distinguished products that Sri Lanka has produced to the world, Mr. Dimantha Seneviratne, the Group Executive Officer, Director of the National Development Bank PLC, who provides strategic and visionary to the APEC executive leadership to NDB, the only financial services group in Sri Lanka with the presence in the Sri Lankan banking, capital markets, and property management sector, as well as the Bangladesh capital market sector via the total of 8 group companies coming under the parent ownership of NDB. He accounts for over 30 years of experience in the banking industry and is widely known as a transformational leader. Having joined NDB in 2017, Dimantha transformed it to one of the most agile and fastest growing banks, which is now the 4th largest listed bank in Sri Lanka. Prior to joining NDB, he was the Director Chief Executive Officer of Pan Asia Banking Corporation PLC for 3 years, while he was instrumental in turning around PABC and transforming it to a high-performing, mid-sized player in the industry. Prior to that, Dimantha spent 15 years with the HSBC Group, where he held key positions in management, including overseas jurisdictions. His latest posting with HSBC Group was Chief Risk Officer Thailand, 2011 to 2013. Prior to that, he was the Chief Risk Officer for Sri Lanka and Maldives, 2008 and 2011, and also functions as the Chief Risk Officer of HSBC Bangladesh in 2010, being one of the few CROs to overlook the functions of all three countries simultaneously. At HSBC, he was responsible for credit growth, strategy, and governance in those respective geographies as a member of the country leadership team. He has gained extensive exposure in corporate banking, retail banking, and wealth management, credit operations, market risk management, internal controls, and investment banking and finance. Dimantha commenced his banking career with Sampath Bank PLC and served in the Overseas Trust Bank, Colombo branch, and Saudi British Bank prior to joining HSBC. As such, Dimantha carries to his credit a wealth of experience and expertise on the full spectrum of business banking gathered across myriad markets and jurisdictions. In addition to the several board director positions in NDB group companies, Dimantha functions as the director of Credit Information Bureau, Sri Lanka. Till early this year was the director of Lanka Clear Private Limited, immediate past president of the Sri Lanka Bankers Association, Guarantee Limited SLBA, and the past president of the Association of Professional Bankers, Sri Lanka. He holds an MBA from the Postgraduate Management, University of Sri Javadripura, a BSc from the same university, also postgraduate diploma holder in computer system design from the NIBM. He successfully completed the High Potential Leadership Program of Harvard Business School, Boston, USA in 2016. He's a senior fellow of the Institute of Bankers, Sri Lanka. His strong strategic focus, ability to develop people, drive towards sustainable results has led NDB to be recognized as the best bank in Sri Lanka and best digital bank in Sri Lanka in numerous occasions as prestigious local and international awards. Dimantha is also the recipient of the best CEO in Sri Lankan banking sector awards in several international awards programs. He is a strong proponent of digitalization in financial markets, financing renewable and clean energy generation, financial inclusion, women empowerment, and environmental sustainability outside work. He's an academic, he's an ardent music lover, and an avid traveler. I think we have had about 35 CEOs on this program, and I can tell you one thing, that the professionalism that we saw on how this whole program was executed in the last 3 to 4 days, I mean, it just tells you how strong preparation and professionalism that Dimantha demonstrates. And I think it's a learning for every single professional to realize that, you know, going into the details is what really matters as a professional. And Dimantha, it's an honor to have you. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Rohantha and Chairman Apit Badula for inviting me. And thank you for that long introduction. Now I would like to, the topic is winning business during pandemic. Now we are trying to spend some time drawing with the exposure and experience that what NDB did during pandemic. And I will take you through some other slides, prepared slides especially for the benefit of the MBA students and also the admin of Apit taking part in this and all the others who are listening. And also I think last, and just to give an introduction, NDB, we have close to 3,000 staff, 114 branches, and then with the NDB group, I go as the group chief executive officer. So we have 5 subsidiaries also into NDB investment banking, the wealth management, the stock broking, and NDB capital, and also 1 subsidiary in Bangladesh. So already we are talking about 3,200 people. Especially during a pandemic, what did we do differently to do quite well is, I think that's what I'm going to share with you today. And also last year when the pandemic broke up, I happened to be the chairman of the Sri Lanka Bank Association, SLBA. So that was again another challenge, looking after the industry, banking industry, which is basically providing the important economic activity of banking. So those were the key challenges that we had. So to do that, I think one of the key elements that I worked on was on building the staff confidence, building the industry stability, and also supporting the customers. Now this is where I believe the assuring our staff in a VUCA world, the volatile, uncertain, complex, and also when there's ambiguity about the future in a COVID kind of situation, it's very critical that we provide that confidence to the staff. And this is from the start, we started building, so that in the next slide, we are talking more about it. The other one is bringing the stability to the industry. So as you all aware, soon after the COVID situation, a lot of pressure brought in on the moratoriums, and a lot of customers borrowed, naturally had their cash flows got struck, and then we had to, as a bank and the banking industry, we had to react and actually support them. And not only that, and that's subsequently, but immediately with the lockdowns, the access to cash, access to the transactions, all that safeguarding the staff of the entire bank industry. Some of these banks have unions as well, but as an industry, how do we bring that assurance? So that is, again, I'm going to talk about that, and another imperative that we worked on. And then the third one is on this customer side. All of them got impacted, and we are dealing with all our deposit customers as well as the borrowing customers who are making a major contribution to the economy as an industry and as also as a bank. So how do you support them beyond the call of duty in a situation like that? None of us have gone through something in our lifetime, and then how do you manage that? Now, these are the key imperatives, reassuring the customers as well that we are there. We are not to take out the umbrella when it is raining. Our support is there always. These kind of imperatives were there. So these are the key areas that we are working on. We can move on to the rallying the staff. I think that is one of the key, especially now we are in the service industry. The banking is basically relying on your staff to deliver services to our customers. So that is where the staff morale is quite important. And we did several things to get this by engaging the staff. And so one of the key things that I did was fully getting our leadership engaged in managing the situation. So we have a wonderful leadership team that NDB has developed over the last few years. And we got them fully engaged with their next level and the level after to keep the staff morale up. And then, so we continuously had one. Every week we used to have, even now we are having the leadership meetings every Wednesday morning. And that way we got the feedback as well. And then the continuous communication to staff about what things are doing. Because the one key thing in a situation like this is the lack of information to the staff that would lead to fear. So we want to give that assurance to our staff by continuously communicating about where we stand. And I remember during the first two lockdowns, I had sent at least 7-8 mails, video calls, video conferences to our staff. Using the digital means as well to keep them all engaged, and also providing the certainty during a crisis like this. You may recall that I think most, some of the companies, even including some of the larger ones, also went for salary cuts pay cuts and all. However, now this is where we took a lead, and this actually, even as an industry also, I was supporting this, because for us to support our wider community, we need to have a supportive staff to do that. And we realized that bank is going to bear a brunt of all these challenges to the economy, challenges to the country, challenges to the customers, and also whilst having your own personal safety at stake, you need to serve the clients as well. So that is where we need to provide that certainty to our staff. So we took that lead when there were so many salary cuts coming around. We took, in fact, I put that across to our board and got the board approval also to ensure that even, this is the time that we usually give staff bonuses as well in April or March, April. So not to cut anything, we went ahead with those payments and also the increments, and gave that assurance, no, we are not going to cut the salary unless you are really, really pressurized. But that assurance was important. So that is one of the things. And I think NDB took that lead, and then I think all the banks also went ahead with that. But we took that lead. And then getting efficient ways to come into work and giving that assurance. Again, we provided work from home opportunity, and also even the laptops, even facilitating that, the dongle, the connectivity, all that we provided to ensure a certain percentage of staff, they can work from home so that we can manage the situation. We divided the staff also into 3 groups so that the business continuity is actually looked at, especially the operations teams into 3 different groups. And we also operated from 3 different sites, so that if one site is affected, then the 2 other sites are there to take over. And then, these are all we decided early that we had done in the past actually helped us to get into that situation. We also provide transport when during the lockdown time, because banking was made an essential service. There were a lot of pressure also, you may recall, on the moratoriums and all, and then a lot of work that the back office staff have to do, effecting the moratorium, getting the offer letters, all that you need to have staff to do that. Though branches you may operate with 2-3 staff, and a lot of back office work was happening. So providing transport to them and providing connectivity for those working from home, all that were provided. And also we created a command center just to get, because then our staff got affected. The COVID detections were there. So to ensure that we won't, the contagion effect is minimized, we created a command center, the leadership team, some of them, and some other admin staff and all. And there was a system where we used to get all the information, which we are still getting whenever somebody got affected, the quarantine arrangements, and then also those who have been associated with them. So that's nicely, we all arranged that in advance. And another thing we did was the efficiency that we brought in. We realized that, I think, compared to what it was, the volumes were almost the same. If you look at NDB, had more than 12% growth last year as well. Even this year, so far, about 10% growth. So despite the COVID situation, we have managed the growth while ensuring that we manage our costs. So that's where we critically applied workflows, the robotic process engineering arrangement. Right now we have about 14 robots, RPAs, robot processors, working with hand in hand with the staff. So we looked at sustainable savings as well, which is quite you may notice that our cost income ratio is second lowest in the industry, being a mid-sized bank. So that also we ensured while rallying the staff, and then reassure the staff safety by providing all that what I mentioned. And then apart from that, we also continued with our other CSR work, like through the NDB CARES platform, on providing staff safety, staff benefits. Then on the customer side, looking after, we were We were the fourth largest to provide Saubhagya loan scheme, the refinance scheme. Again, one of the first to go and support customers in distress, or else the various CSR activities, which are depicted in some of the videos that I will share later. So these are some of the things I did. And during that time, to keep the staff engaged, we did a lot of, I mean, even the Christmas carols or the Poson Bhakti, all this were arranged through digital means, so that staff can, not only it's one-way communication from the top, but staff can also keep the upward communication, and also among them, the communication, we use that. And during that time, we also developed a song. Actually, there is again lyrics, everything composed by NDB staff, music, everything. If you can play that song, Shankar, that would be, this is all done by. So like that, this is, and now this song is used as our theme song, even in our ringtones. This is being used, again, keeping the staff engaged in these activities. And then the NDB Cares, actually, we did a lot of work, as I mentioned, to the community. And these are some other photos. These were all done during the lockdown period. Now, this is the giving purified water to a village school, reforestation project. We took 6 hectares initially. Now we have added another 6 hectares to replant in Imbiliakada area in Matale district, and then again invasive plants, taking that out, or giving hospital beds. Again, getting now even this the recent one on roads, the planting of trees. So there again, rallying the market was one of the key areas that we worked on. So we created an ecosystem, especially to support. We realized the country, to come out from this pandemic hit situation, we need a lot of entrepreneurs to be promoted, and we need exports. So that's where we strategized during the first lockdown itself. So when the first lockdown was over in August, we came up with a product which we call Jayagamu Sri Lanka. Now there again, we looked at what are the pain points for our entrepreneurs, so that even registering their business, initial seed capital, supporting, funding them, and then promoting the exporters. So that's where we tied up with Export Development Board, the SLESIC, that is Sri Lanka Export Credit Insurance Corporation, to provide that assurance when somebody export to new markets, the insurance cover. Then we also tied up with Chamber of Commerce, then Dara's platform for them to, this is Dara's is for local vendors. Again, we tied up with more than 1,000 customers who are selling their products when they are unable to showcase their products when there's a lockdown situation. We use the Dara's platform for our customers to showcase their products and sell their products. So that is the more than 1,000 customers. Export platform as well through another service provider. Then we tied up with Maersk, the largest shipping line, on the shipping arrangement for them, and also some shipping insurance. So we all bundle it and then offered the Jayagamu Sri Lanka product for the SMEs and entrepreneurs to support their export side. We also involved in a lot of women financing. The Banking on Women initiative was launched during the lockdown I remember the Women's Day in March. We launched it last year. But despite the COVID situation, we continued the award program. So encouraging again the women participation in the economy. We supported that. Then also in the agriculture side, we went and negotiated some good funding lines. Even the funding line that we recently announced, $75 million from DFC, the Development Finance Corporation of United States. Now that was all negotiations all started in October last year. So it's all hard work, and now only we are getting the funds probably in a month's time. But all happened during we realized that there will be a need for funding to support this economic growth. Soon after the pandemic, we didn't expect a third wave at that time, but we knew the funding is needed, so that we are working on that. And we also got NDB Investment Bank, our subsidiary, to get the funding for National Savings Bank and some other government projects. And NDB Wealth also helped at that time for customers to diversify their deposit when the interest rates were low. So like that, we use the whole ecosystem to support the market. We knew, and also on the infrastructure side, NDB Project Finance, last 5 years, we have funded 30% of Sri Lanka's entire renewable energy projects. 30%, almost 1/3, NDB has funded or arranged funding. So like that, we rallied the market, knowing that when the uptick is starting, we are ready with that funding requirement. So that is something that we worked on that. If you can move on to the next slide, for that. So this is some slide about Wanita Bimana, again, a women driven program in 9 provinces, basically identifying the top women contributors, giving them the opportunity to showcase that. Even there were judges from the bank staff as well. Evaluate and select the best, and then encourage them to encourage the women participation in the economy. And the Jayagama Sri Lanka was launched again in August. Again, what I mentioned about the products, probably there is a video. We can play that on both on Jayagama and Wanita Bimani.
Sri Lanka Wanita Bimana. Sri Lankaවේ දිරිය කාන්තාවන් අගයමින් NDB අරලිය සමග ඔවුන්ගේ ජීවන අරගලයට සවියක් වන්නයි අපට ඕන වුණේ. කාන්තාවන්ගේ හෙට දවස එළිය කරන විප්ලවීය සංග්‍රාමය සඳහා පළමු පියවර තැබුවා. නමුත් ලෝකය පුරා පැතිර ගිය COVID-19 රැල්ල නිසා වනිතා බිමාන වැඩසටහන ලත්තැනම ලුප් වුණා. ඒත් සියලු බාධක බිඳිමින් අප විසින් Zoom තාක්ෂණය ඔස්සේ වනිතා බිමාන රට පුරා රැගෙන ගියා. ඉදිරියේදී පැවැත්වීමට සූදානම් කර ඇති අවසන් මහා සම්මාන ප්‍රදානෝත්සවයේදී පළාත් 9ක ජාතික මට්ටමින් ජයග්‍රහණය කළ දිරිය කාන්තාවන් 8 දෙනා කිරුළු පැලඳීමට නියමිතයි. ශ්‍රී ලංකා වනිතා බිමාන.
So that was a video done before the final event happened. That was happened in March this year, and that's where the award ceremony was. This is on the Jayagama Sri Lanka, literally Sri Lanka product for the SMEs and the exporters. Thanks. So, so all this we achieved, and in the process we won several awards as well. All thanks to some of the winning business strategies. So I think for MBA students and all, probably this is more important about how we did all this. I think the preparation is one of the key things. All this happened not by, fly by night kind of situation. We have been planning, we have been preparing, not that we were preparing for a COVID kind of situation, but we were preparing ourselves for any eventuality. So that is very important for all of us. The preparation is key and planning ahead is very key. So what has worked in the past may not work in future. So we have to always plan ahead, strategize yourselves, and also invest in the right technology, and that paid rich dividends. So I mean, even for that, the agile team is important. So agility, having an agile team is a key. Again, I must mention that, I mean, building an agile team is the key for my success as well as a leader. So yeah, some of you may have referred to Good to Great book, Jim Collins, who wrote about 15 years ago. I think the principles are still applicable. I mean, getting the right people to the bus, getting the wrong people out from the bus, and then also probably giving your best people the biggest opportunities. Then also, when you know you have to get out, take some of the staff critical decisions that you have to make to get them out. So these we have been doing over the 2-3 years prior to the COVID situation. So as a result, we have developed a wonderful agile team who is working hand in hand with us. And whenever there is a need, as a CEO also, you should be able to roll up your leaves and then get into dirty your hands and get into work. I mean, that is important, but you need to also have critical time to think ahead, plan ahead. That is also important. So that's where the delegation matters. And having an agile team helps you to delegate so that you have good time to think and strategize for the future. So that is important for MBA aspirants and also any leader. That's very important. Planning ahead. Even for that matter, our 5-year strategy that we launched in latter part of 2020. Actually, we started planning that in last 3 months of 2020. Because we used that time to plan ahead. We knew that after the COVID, the economy will pick up. There'll be political stability. So based on that, we came up with a 5-year strategy, which is now in place till 2025. So again, planning ahead. Even the digital investments that we made, again, thanks to the plans that we made, we were the first bank actually to open a phygital branch. And we have 2 branches right now, one in Fort and the other one in Shangri-La. Again, less customer transactions through all through digital means. So like that, we plan ahead, and these are so that when you have a situation like this, we may make use of that situation to identify opportunities and then grow. So we also look at niche opportunities that are available. And then capitalize on that. When you are having a strong team, when you are having a good pre-arranged arrangements, I think then even in a COVID kind of situation, we can grab these opportunities. So even when it comes to granting the refinance linked, central bank links refinance, I think we are the 4th largest in including the 2 state banks in granting the Saubhagya loans. Or coming up with new products at that time. Again, taking that opportunity and seize that is important. And then, of course, the digital, that was the key theme in our leadership team. To invest digitally, looking at that's the future naturally. So invest in that so that we are already agile so that we can take that first move. And first move in a VUCA world is very important because that's where you take a huge leap. So the others may have time to catch up, but then we can plan for the next level. So that was the secret, getting a good team behind them and rallying them around. And in all that, basically led to some of the awards that we mentioned. These are some of the key awards that we won as a bank. The Best Bank by Global Finance of UK, USA, then the Banker, the Best Bank Award last year. We won that in 2018 and 2020. Then the Best Digital Bank by Asia Money. Several awards, Best Corporate Bank, Best Digital Bank Initiative, World's Best Consumer Digital Bank from Global Finance, and most universal digital transformation. So many awards, and also personally, also I got some award as the Best Banking CEO and also Best Group CEO. So all these awards and accolades naturally come. I mean, this year so far, NDB won about 40 awards. Last year, we had about 60 awards. I mean, when you're doing well, naturally, yes, these are good motivating kind of factors to our staff to do well, and then quite pleased with that progress. So basically, those are the things. And in parting, I just want to leave key 3 messages to the students. One is digital. We need to use it as a transformer, not as a mere enabler. So for that, you need to invest and also think about use COVID as an opportunity. I mean, through that, we all realize the beauty of digital, and Sri Lanka being an island, and then we have so much of talent who are capable in doing so many things on the IT side. So that is one. Then the other one is the data-driven decision making. Now we also invested in data mart, various data techniques, because data is the key. Rather than your gut feeling to take decision, we use data. So I mean, in this age, you have so many data-driven. I mean, data analytics are there. We have a team looking at analytics and providing all the key inputs to the business line to take decisions. So that is a key thing that I would leave with you all. And also envisage the future. Don't be scared to dream. Now there again, we build a culture where you try out things, you fail fast, fail cheap, but keep trying out, because that has helped us. I mean, thank God we have not failed in many, but the things that we have done very well, because the culture that we built to providing that support to the staff, empowering them to try new things. And that has also helped even for other industries also. These are some of the key thoughts that I want to leave with you all.
Thank you very much, Dimantha, and I think it was a fantastic case study of how you have a organization very holistically run, marrying the reality of the world to organization strategy, and you see how the numbers come, and through that you have a whole plethora of awards that actually signify the kind of thinking that actually the leadership gives. So we've got a whole set of questions that has come. And the first question is, just like many economies in the world, Sri Lanka is challenged. And it's asking you, what is your view?
No, that's true, Rohantha, Dr. Rohantha. I mean, almost all global economies were affected by the pandemic. I mean, all of them. And with the lockdowns, some, of course, more than others. Especially the service-oriented economies like Sri Lanka were more affected than the others. The ability to withstand such shocks depend on the structural integrity of the economy, such as the fiscal discipline, the high tax base, the efficient processes, etc. So unfortunately for Sri Lanka, this was like the perfect storm coming on the back of the East attack in the previous year. So unfortunately, the high external debt burdens are not eased, and then the global impact of affecting both the tourism and the export industries, actually that was a double whammy. So you may have seen that the recent Fitch report has shown that most Asia Pacific frontier economies, their foreign reserves have grown, but unfortunately not Sri Lanka. because of the impact. One was the Easter related, tourism was one of the major income driver for us, and that had an issue. So since Q1 2020, we had a pandemic. So these are all impacted, but there are no shortcuts. It's time that we pull together as a nation and get the basics right, put the economy. Economy has to transit into an export-oriented manufacturing base with less resilience on imports. So no questions about that. I think so. We are a bit of worst impacted compared to some others in the region.
What do you think will be the next 1 year? I mean, we know that we've had the impact of the pandemic, just like every other economy. But how do you see the next 1 year panning out, given the kinds of development we saw in the last week or so?
Yeah, so it's a very critical 12 months that we are talking about for the country. If you look at the external debt perspective, I would say that there's a significant debt payment coming up on 26th of this month, $1 billion. I think the reserves are sufficient to manage that. Now thereafter, again, in January 2022, we have a 500 million sovereign bond coming in for maturity. The next one is again another billion in July next year. So the next 12 months, July to July, we will have almost 2.5 billion payments coming in. So I think this year's payment is quite capable, and then that's where you need to manage your trade deficit and build up the reserves through the exports. Hopefully, the tourism should also pick up at least from next year with the vaccination program happening in the country and also around the globe. Hopefully that to the changes actually do well. So whether you are running your own business or working as an employee, you need to adapt to the change and embrace it. And what better time than this, where we all have gone through a lot of challenges. We all were challenged to start MBA and then basically get enrolled in that. I think one of the key thing is that you may need to unlearn some of the theories that you have learned and learn new things that are happening and apply that in practically whatever you are doing. And that is very important. Of course, you learn a lot of theories as well in the MBA class. But again, whatever you learn, try and go and apply that in your work environment. I mean, that is where when one do an MBA, I encourage at least 2-3 years work experience also to have it. So that would basically help. You can also contribute in the MBA class with the other group members, so that you can basically try from the examples rather than going it as an academic side. So my advice to the young MBAs is to embrace this change. Don't be constrained in your thinking, while keeping an eye on what's happening around the world in the future. And envisage what is going to happen in 5 years' time. I mean, you know that globally, and there are opportunities for countries like Sri Lanka as well. I mean, the US or the Europe also, they are outsourcing some of the work. We know that there's big demand for even credit evaluation here in the country. There are firms who are doing credit assessment, credit evaluation for. Now the global economy is picking up. There's a lot more IPOs coming up in the US, and soon after the COVID pandemic, they are coming out. So naturally, there are opportunities to assess that. Even the covenant monitoring, the structuring that is happening there, we can use our resources to do that. So there is a whole world that is opening up as well. And in the lockdown situation, the work from home cultures, there's a complete, there may be closing of some opportunity in some businesses, some areas, but there's opportunities coming up, creating as well. So think about what can happen in the next 5 years and plan ahead and probably shift your focus, shift the industry also to that. I mean, that is an advice that I give to MBAs.
So what made you select banking as a career? I mean, yeah, looking at the kind of exposure you had academically, what really got you there, Dimantha?
I think so. Rather, I mean, we also went through a lot of phases. I mean, when I was in university, the university also closed for 2 years. This was during the height of 89, 88 period. But if not, I would have been one of the youngest graduate to come out from the university as well. But during that time, I used to enroll in IBM's 1-year computer diploma. And I mean, there again, I ended up as the batch top in that batch. For whatever reason, I got job offers. One to join Sampath Bank, the other one to join a leading IT firm who are still operating. They're doing quite well. So both those opportunities came at the same time, but probably some direction from probably high spirits or whatever. I mean, the fate directed me to go and choose the banking. So that is how I ended up. But there again, I started at a low level and then rose up, did my banking and so many others. Again, you have to follow your dreams as well. So you have to shape up your career. When you see that some foreign exposure is needed at that time, you go and take that challenge. So with that, you move into a bigger group. I think you need to make that move at the right time as well. So that I think with that, probably that is how I ended up in banking.
You had a mentor?
No, not really. I may have had some role models at that time. Few senior people, but I think I didn't drive from one single person. But right now, I don't have anyone. Probably when you come to a certain level, you may have 2, 3 role models to get some ideas about your future. But I think once you come to a level, then you have to basically be on your own. So you can't drive some input from any other. So I think right now I don't have, but I think when in the mid career, yes, in the early stages, I would have had few people.
Any key technique which you think you like to single out, which you used to motivate people during the pandemic, which sometimes, it was so different to before, Dimantha?
So Rohat, again, I think the key is being with your staff. I'm a firm believer of the inclusive culture and getting down to even, I mean, I have come a hard way as a youngster. So, I mean, I know the pain points of the staff also going through, and being with them, communicating them rather than keeping them in the dark. I think some of those I shared in the earlier slides and some of the videos. I think being close to your staff is very important. And whenever they needed, you have to walk off the talk, roll up your sleeves and then get in dirty your hands. So because they are leading by example, I think that is a key technique. I think I have practiced and that has worked so well. And that way you derive a lot of comfort also from your staff, and that is how you earn respect. I mean, you can't demand respect, you need to earn it, and that is what I think that I've been getting by getting involved with them.
So if you were to get COVID today, have you selected who is going to lead the company?
Yeah, of course. I think nowadays COVID, you're out for 2-3 weeks, of course, working from home. Even now we are working from home. But to answer, yes, we have quite a good, capable leadership team, and there are a few people who can take over. I mean, that is again a success of a leader as well, to develop teams who can really take over if you are not there. You need to have that. Otherwise, I mean, whenever you leave, you can't leave a place without having people to take over. So I think that is being developed. But I mean, to give you an answer, there are people capable. But if you are in a COVID situation, you can always work from home and manage it. You have been doing all this time.
Sorry, I'm going to ask you this question. If you have to give advice to the economic team of Sri Lanka, what would you tell them?
Okay. I think one of the things is to get the basics right. And also increase the government income. Nothing new. I mean, some of those would have. We have so many state institutions that are losing money. Efficiencies are very low, and which can actually generate huge profits. So we need to pay more attention to that. And also, unfortunately, the thinking about it, always, if you look at the youngsters, I mean, most of them still prefer a government job, because that gives some assurance, or the pensions, or I mean, even now the pensions are not there in most cases. But that has been the culture over the years. I mean, I think we need to correct that. I mean, we have a significant number of government employees, the inefficiencies are there. So that is something we need to correct by shifting to so many other private entities, the other private sectors driving the economy. So that mentality should come out. We should come out from that. Some of these youngsters are looking at the government job because just to have job safety, you have a pension, but they do so many other things while having that job as a standby arrangement. I mean, that's again a culture that we need to change. I mean, having worked with so many other Asian countries, for me, I know the work ethics here compared to some of the other countries where developed, like Thailand, even Bangladesh for that matter, the work ethics are much more advanced than us. I mean, people are hardworking. Unfortunately, still we have not seen it in Sri Lanka. Those who work hard, yes, they are done very well. The other one is increasing our tax base, and also the improving the efficiencies in the government mechanism to encourage private sector investment. If you look at the ease of doing business, we are ranked around 99, when other upper middle income countries like even say Thailand, they are ranked at 21, Vietnam at 70. So we have to do a lot of things to encourage that and encourage local production, aim at naturally the trade deficit that we need to work on. So encourage more local production, reduce the imports. These are things that are happening now, and naturally get the FDIs up. We have a good workforce, a lot of good people who are capable. I think getting the investments, FDI is a key area that we need to work on.
A key strategy that helped NDB win so many awards. I mean, I've seen in the last 1 to 2 years, a significant, I mean, do you have a team that applies for this award, or is it that the people come behind and say, okay, I think you guys are good? You know, how does it work?
No, I think it's developing a world-class team. So what I mentioned earlier about the good to great company, the study done by Collins, there again, the secret was some of those mainly revolves around people management. So getting the right people to lead and put the right people into the right job. I mean, that I had been doing that even NDB, prior to that, even in Pan Asia Bank, whenever I had that leadership opportunity, or even in the overseas assignment. And that has worked well. So that is one key. And also creating and dreaming about the future. So we have been dreaming about the future, even the now NEOS app that has been a really, really good success. I mean, we dreamt about it about 3 years ago. And we went for one core banking system rather than some of the banks I know that are stuck with 2-3 different legacy systems. So they are unable to connect through the APIs and develop these programs. And whereas we thought about it ahead and we invested in one system and through APIs to link it. So like that, you need to give that culture, promote that culture for staff also to think and promote about creating that future is also the other thing. So that is how I think we have been doing quite well. Quite grateful to the team.
So what advice would you give young Dimantha, 19 years old, starting a career in banking, maybe wanting to start a career in banking? I mean, what would you tell him?
Probably I would like to take that question in a different way. I mean, See, 19-year-old Dimantha was many years ago. The economy, the situation was quite different. Probably that I may say that what advice we give to youngsters who are here today. I think the attitude matters. I think nowadays, unfortunately, maybe that's a problem with the Z generation as well. People tend to move from one job to the other. They are restless about their next career move or the career advancement. And we need to, you need to be mindful that, I mean, you can't change situation from so soon. You need to try out things, go to the basics as well, learn that basic rather than only at a surface level and then think, oh, no, this is not the place, probably I move to the next one. Try and understand. I mean, that is what even I did. We, I mean, dirty your fingers, but go and learn the basics, and that helps you a lot. Not that, I mean, I have been in one industry, but different companies, of course. But I think advice to youngsters is try and understand the basics and the culture. Wherever that you work, earn, respect that place. I mean, that is where, I mean, I imagine so many people who are without jobs. Whenever you get that opportunity, do well. And thank God for having that opportunity to do that, because there may be a lot more that you're trying to look for a company who is looking for a job. So whatever that opportunity, grab it, learn it, understand it, and then try it out whether this is the one that follows my dream or there's if it not, probably leave. But you need at some age, you need to settle down. What industry you need to select and then try and learn the basics and try to do it. Yeah.
So, I mean, when you work in organizations like HSBC, you know, it's a continuous learning process that you go through, you know, and then of course you decided that you're going to go and study at Harvard. What did you learn in Harvard that a multinational career has not taught you? You know what I'm saying? No, I mean, I was studied at Harvard. So, you know, the guys teach you something things that books don't teach. You know, what is that one thing, Dimantha, that you like to share?
I think it is the, one is the networking. I mean, Harvard provides you so much of opportunities to network with a like-minded set of people. And we still maintain those contacts that you built during those courses. And it's one very good thing. The other one is you apply the theory. I mean, that is why I mentioned this to the MBA students also. Wherever you are, of course, it's a case study based arrangement, but apply the theory to the things that you are doing in your current organization. I mean, those two key things, I would say, are key learnings that, of course, HSBC gave a lot of training to us, right? I mean, I'm thankful to them. I mean, 17 years with the group, a lot of overseas training. Of course, they identify talent, provide them opportunities, the overseas postings, and also I've been identified as a top talent and given these opportunities with that lot of training as well. But Harvard molded you into a more commercial-oriented person. Thinking commercial is also important. And that helped then the network and application of theories. I think those are the key learnings that I got from Harvard.
The last question, Dimantha. As you know, today's session is watched by so many ambassadors who have been on this program before, from the Dr. Corners from China to Saroja from the ambassador to UK, and Sashi, who is the ambassador to Singapore, Shani from Lebanon, and, you know, so across the world, you know, Manisha from Philippines. So now they're all watching you. So, you know, you have global experience for sure, but, you know, right now you're in Sri Lanka. So the question is, do you believe in brand Sri Lanka?
Certainly, I think brand Sri Lanka, we have a unique country where, brand Sri Lanka should not only limited to tourism or that space, but if you may talk about that, again, within few hours, you can reach different climates, so much of pristine beaches. So much of wildlife opportunities that the brand provide, and we need to market it. We need to properly do that. Apart from that, Sri Lanka is known for producing so many indigenous products, our food. I mean, there's a lot of authentic food that is available. We need to market that. So many products that we have, we need to take that. I mean, few countries can talk about their food, and I think we have we can make use of that, and then the people, the talent that we have. I mean, being island nation, I think we have people with a lot of analytical thinking. We are smart, but unfortunately, whether they are smart and applying that is where the problem is. And then the location of the country. Now we are just below India. I mean, why not we be like Singapore to Malaysian subcontinent, or Hong Kong to the Chinese subcontinent, or Dubai to the Middle Eastern subcontinent? We have a lot of FTAs with these and trading partners in the SAARC region. I mean, we need to promote that, and we have a talented set, a smaller country compared to others. Level of education is high. So yes, I seriously believe in brand Sri Lanka and would really like to support that wherever it's possible to carry that brand.
Thank you very much, Group Chief Executive Officer, Director, NDB Bank. Thank you for the very frank discussion. And as you know, there's a lot of negativity in the marketplace as we speak. I mean, you watch TV, you take the newspapers, you go on digital, and when you have a person of your caliber talk of brand Sri Lanka in this manner, it gives some hope to even people like us, that we need to keep fighting to make sure Sri Lanka comes out good. So thank you so much, Dimantha. It's actually beautiful talking to you. And one key point that I really learned from you is amount of preparation that you do, even for a small, event like this, and you have yet the team behind you, that it's a team event that takes you through. And I mean, it's a learning for all of us, actually. It's really wonderful. And Kaushali, over to you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ranta. I must thank my team as well, Shankar, who is behind this, and also all those who have supported me as well to get some of these slides together. I would like to mention that as well. But thank you very much, Rohanta, and happy team, Mr. Igodake, everybody, for the opportunity given. Pleased to share these thoughts. I mean, if it is useful, yes, quite happy. Thank you.
Kaushali, over
Thank
to
you very much. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Dimantha. Indeed, it is a very fruitful conversation. Let me tell you for sure that all our postgraduate students have picked up, forget about the subject, but about your grit and about your passion towards challenging environments, to deal with them and to make sure that you persuade them. So thank you so much for that experience sharing today with us. I'm sure it will come very handy for all our dear students who are planning on embarking on different platforms after their education. So while thanking you and the audience who had been with us, if you have any questions, students, you can always reach out to the student services, or you can always reach out to Dr. Rohantha in terms of the academic support. And we believe that we will very soon have an opportunity to have all these people and all these designations coming to the APIT premises very soon to interact. It is just merely that we are in this online platform due to the current prevailing situations. So Mr. Dimantha, we will also hopeful that we will be able to meet up very soon in person in the university. So while wishing for that opportunity, let's wind it up for today, and we will meet up again in another week's time. And until then, stay safe and good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you very much.